Hello everybody, we are back again with another portion of our first episode of the Consulting Detective Network with Lamplight City. I am again happy to be joined by robotspacer, who has put on a jacket. No, put on a hoodie since the last episode. On the flip side here, it is way too warm. I went and turned the AC on.
Yeah, I'm actually cold because our AC is doing too good.
That's a good problem to have.
Unseeker Crush is frequently warmer than I am.
she also says it's too cold now.
Yeah, well, you can adjust it. That's fine.
So let's see. Recap. We are a ex-cop private investigator who accidentally murdered our partner trying to stop a thief who was coming daily or every other day for flowers. We have jumped 3 months ahead to where we are now doing private investigations. Oh, we can still hear the voice of our dead partner? We don't know what's up with that yet. We are investigating the not death of a rich heiress. Heiress? No, she's not an heiress. She literally married into it. So a rich widower who they thought was dead, got put into a casket. During the funeral, knocked on the casket. I'm not dead. No, I feel happy. Sorry, anyway. People won't get that reference. And now we're trying to figure out who would have put her into that state and how. There's a pretty good chance it's either her daughter at this point or someone who took her daughter's research. And that's
I feel like the latter.
Probably, yeah. Because again, they explicitly call out that some of her books are missing. And it was weird. Hard to find the Goldilocks zone.
But it is a little suspicious that she lied to us.
Yeah. Not only did she lie to us about what her research was, kind of her relationship with her mother, she was not upfront about as well. Culinary, no, not quite. I believe it would have been a Monty Python reference from the Holy Grail. When they were like, bring out your dad! And they bring out the dude that is not actually dead.
Right. That's why that sounded familiar.
All right, well, I don't think we have anything else to say to her.
I've never seen a flower grow that.
All right, that's all to say. That didn't really get us anything new, other than knowledge, which is useful.
What's the mug? Is that the coffee shop?
Yeah. We can go. I mean, we can at least go tell.
I haven't been there in a bit.
She's running back and forth at lightning speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply.
Devin, you're not wrong.
We'll get some coffee for Andrew.
That's
all that metal and tubing, just
not a bad idea.
Give me an old fashioned.
Can we talk to her? No. Game, you better not steamroll me into accusing Albert. We could just say he did it.
Wrap up case.
I don't think we're gonna click on that button.
Yeah, we don't want to accuse him.
Okay, what have you got?
We don't want to accuse anyone at this point.
Oh, is she our hint guide? Is she the equivalent of calling our friends in Nancy Drew?
Oh.
I seem to have hit a roadblock. There's an officer posted at Dupre's.
If so, I'm going to back out after this response.
Makes sense. Who's the officer?
I've never seen him before. He's young, has a small scar over his left eye, and a distinct Dixie accent.
Ah, yes, that would be Officer Grant. He's only been with the department for about 2 months. I don't know a lot about him, but he's already got the reputation for being the type of policeman who'd go out of his way to help old ladies cross the street. Typical Southern gentleman, it seems. Perhaps you can use that to your advantage?
Interesting.
Oh, that is... Huh. I can't tell if that means that's a hint or we literally needed to come here to talk to her.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if it's the latter.
All right, well...
Madame Dupre's son isn't being very helpful.
Is he refusing to talk?
More like incapable. The family doctor has him pretty well drugged to the gills.
Oh yeah, he's high as a kite.
Well, you know, we are in a coffee house.
Look, we tried.
Thank you. We'll take something a touch more powerful than coffee. That's enough
2 coffees
for now.
Okay.
Maybe they don't have espresso yet.
That's it, I think.
Then you.
That one felt like more of a hint.
Yeah. Okay.
So we need something stronger than coffee. And I already forgot what the other thing we talked about. Oh,
something about the cop is like he's a very good cop.
Right.
So.
Go out of his way to help an old lady across the street. So maybe we need to lie about
Good day to you, officer.
something different.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir. Please.
Okay, nothing yet.
Okay, so we can't talk to him at all.
Can we go talk to our wife? I'm not sure what it would do.
Ah, home at last.
Welcome
Do
home.
we have any
So
stimulants?
What's this big case Upton's got you on? Another missing pet?
Oh,
If
what's
only.
the...
A Gascon Grand Dame was attacked and almost interred alive.
You mean Madame Dupre? The one who's a...
The very same.
Goodness, that does sound serious. Tell me if there's anything I can do to help. I know you haven't been feeling your best lately.
You're always a help to me, Addie. Though I assure you I have this well in hand.
I certainly hope so.
What was the drug he was doing?
It was a sleep thing, though, right? It was
So that's the opposite of what we want.
Yeah, I'll go look at it in a second, though. I have to say, not only am I surprised that there's a married couple in an adventure game, but there's a married couple that seems to have an actual healthy relationship.
Yeah.
I like it. I appreciate it. Actually, 6-7, we are in some sort of steampunk American / London analog.
Yes, your soporific is still in
Soporific.
there. Stop being so paranoid. It's admirable just how organized Adelaide is.
Okay. Same thing.
Wouldn't you say it's time?
So?
Thing.
Right.
What are you talking?
Never. Remember before you started taking that medicine and you could actually read a book for more than 10 minutes before falling asleep? You were a lot more fun to talk to back then.
Jeez. Might you consider playing adventure games with your wife? Which, I should mention, she's not on the initial list because she's still trying to figure out timing and everything, but Kia is going to be joining me for a CDN stream at some point.
Oh, nice.
She's been going through a bunch of art stuff recently, and so has not gotten back to
I'm
streaming
heading out
just
for
yet.
now.
Give my regards to Constance.
Probably the only reason I did not include her in the original trailer is I didn't want to make her feel pressured that she had to do it anytime soon. I don't have any good ideas. Where would you like to go?
Talk to Albert at the jail again?
Okay.
Nothing else to ask him right now. He hasn't got much
Okay.
time left. Best not to waste it.
I wonder if we need to poke around at the manor some more.
I bet that's a direct line to the police department. You should make a rude noise into it when Giles isn't paying attention.
You can do that.
This quack,
Alright.
her eyes are glazed over.
Nope,
If we didn't know
that's the same.
This fountain probably looked nicer when it was working. There's an angel on the fountain, but it doesn't look... This would probably be...
Okay. And all that. Double click.
I guess our notes kind of have a list of things we could do, right?
That's true. Yes. Residents. We can't do the tune yet. We
Like,
just-
do you have things gotten crossed off in here ever?
No,
Well, I guess we still haven't talked to Andrew, so that makes sense for that to still be there. Wait, I wasn't done.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Distract the
Return to
officer.
Upton and accuse. Okay, we don't want
Figure
to
out
accuse Albert yet.
Why they were not happy with one another.
That might be something we could find out from Andrew, though.
Yeah. And we have these two. Oh.
There's got to be something we can do with the tweezers.
Oh, they transcribed the text here. Okay.
Stick around. I may have more.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Okay. Nope. No new text there. I want that bread. I need to make soda bread sometime soon.
Mm.
Ooh, hello, Willow. What are you doing? Just hanging out? All right. He has decided to lay next to my legs.
This is always my favorite part of detective work.
Did we never...
Nothing inside but
Okay.
a bunch of extra doilies.
How disappointing. Maybe
You're
you should
telling me.
steal one, just to spite Madame Dupre for not giving us any good clues.
No, Bill.
You're no fun, Miles.
All right, Bill, you stop reading my mind.
A horrible little porcelain figurine. Madame Dupre didn't strike me as the type to play with dolls.
Like, is there something I didn't click on in here?
I kind of wonder if we're missing something with the piano.
Yeah. Oops. And then, like, obviously there's the cylinder graph.
Received.
Right.
Thank you, Caden. Thank you, Hinton. I'm not going to accuse the victim. I mean, whether or not she should actually be dead or not, I'm not going to accuse the victim. But thank you for subscribing.
Too warm now.
Yeah, it must be a nice place to sit and listen to music. Why would anyone...
Oh.
Perhaps it's to mask the...
Can I move the weird painting?
I don't know much...
No. Also, if you don't like me clicking through the text we've already heard before, let me know.
Decadent.
Is that jar? The green jar?
The bottle is
Vigor
empty.
pills, right.
But
Oh.
let's take it, though. Didn't before.
Decadent.
Oh, because we didn't... Do we not know we needed stimulant?
No, I think we came over
Sounds like
here
a stimulant,
after we
right?
found out about the stimulant.
Yeah, we
I
did.
can only
What the
wonder
heck?
what sort of potions Andrew... The science of pharma...
Oh, but it's empty, right?
Yeah.
So, Did we find a use for a bottle? Oh.
That's interesting. So can we make?
What?
The science... I can only one... Decadent. A gentle...
Maybe we can ask the doctor?
Or do we need to... fill it ourselves?
A much young...
Are those other books
I'd like
here?
to look at the music sheet again.
I don't even want... I read that. Doesn't appear to be... Now that one's one of those...
Okay.
Choice and constant.
You got it. Yeah, and it definitely starts at the low C.
Right.
Nothing else... Seems Madame Dupre fancies herself a poet.
Hinton, thank you
Wait,
so much
what?
for me forgetting to remove a redeem. I'm gonna fix that right now. Yeah, we didn't find this before. I don't know why this is here now. But hold on just a second while I just turn off the thing on channel points.
I'll read it while you're doing that.
Yep.
To dream, O Morpheus, caress my cheek, bring forth the soothing visions, give me strength when I am weak, allow me some provisions. In your domain, I am as a queen, controlling all I see and hear. I've traveled places I've never been, and know not the meaning of fear. Laura Dupre. The dove. The dove is pure, serene, and pale, a glowing angel in the sparkling sky. Its gentle coos unlike the whale, or the cursed crow that will not die. Protect the dove from grim defeat. Let it remain in gentle flight, for when the crow's allowed to eat, it covers the world in eternal night. Laura Dupree.
And I'm sorry on Secret Crush, I cannot refund those, but I do not have that set up for these scenes. I waffled on whether I wanted to have it on for CDN streams or not. For you, I will get it set up in a way that works for the next CDN stream.
I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah, I was like, could the capitals be piano letters? But no.
Same. Exact same thought I had.
Hinton asked for a Willow check. Her butt is all the way behind the desk, and her head is currently laying on my feet.
On Secret Crush, you gotta come in here to do that.
I mean, you're welcome to throw stuff at robotspacer. I would ask you not to, but you know, I'm not your boss. And no, I cannot set it up to throw objects at other things. It literally only works at my model.
Oh.
Okay. Like what? Nope. Like, is there a message on the capitals? No.
Are these the only two pages we can look at?
That was life-changing.
For once in my life, I'm completely speechless.
Then perhaps I should take this with me and read it more often. Nah.
I got a trophy that says
day job.
Yep. It's interesting that you can see that. Usually it doesn't pick up overlays.
Yeah, it seems like I can see all your Steam overlays in
That's interesting.
Discord.
That's an old... This must be...
And there's got to be something going on with this bookcase, otherwise it wouldn't let us zoom in, right?
Right.
Could you add robotspacer to the list of things we can fish up? Yes.
Oh no. It's fine.
Don't. What is happening? Please do not throw things at... Oh, all right. I did say I wasn't the boss of her. Oh, that's adorable.
We should add that to the collection.
We should.
Is it-
Can you put him next? I'll put him there.
Yeah.
Is it Gudetama? Is that right?
Ooh, a fainting...
Oh, maybe he's not very visible. Oh well.
Save for the heck of it. Let's go.
I was wondering if you were about to do something dangerous.
No. I think I want to ask the doctor about the bottle if it'll let us.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we should probably ask him about the bottle.
I have some questions for you. Oh, goody.
Hey.
I found this bottle of pills upstairs. Are they yours?
Yes, I take those from time to time when I'm feeling tired.
You seem to be out.
Yes, that is a pity.
Where do you usually acquire them?
Oh, they're available by mail order only. I'll have to remember to request some later.
Thanks for your time.
No, thank you.
Well, shit.
Polly want a cracker?
No, thank you.
So, my thoughts are maybe it's worth asking the doctor just to see what happens.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe that's a container we can put something else in.
Good call.
This quack hasn't gotten anything...
And Secret Crush saying that she finds that man's teeth unnerving. That's all right. I find everything about him unnerving. Coffee?
Put a lot of coffee in there.
She's running back and forth at lightning. Give me an old-fashioned... All that metal... P.D. Preston's patented papier-mâché perambulat. Handsomely upholstered in silk, satin, or velvet, and hand-painted in the most artistic manner, as shown in engraving. I suppose if you and Adelaide ever finally decide to have children, something like this will come in handy.
What?
Simon Banks, professional chimney sweep.
I think it's a pamper.
2 coppers per hour.
Like
Inquire at
diaper?
305 Merrick Lane. I'm sure he's a lovable urchin, but thankfully, your chimney is clean. Professor Xander Colt Tit III's emulsified soporific, available at all discerning pharmacies. I really don't
where's
know
a
why
pharmacy?
you think taking that rat piss every night is a good idea for him. Green's sulfur salt beautifies the complexion and leaves you smelling fresh as a daisy. Talk about false advertising. I couldn't get a date for a week after using that stuff.
I mean, if it contains sulfur, yeah, I would imagine not pleasant. Also, what is going on with my... Oh, all right. The microphone seems weirdly loud. Give me a second. I need to actually check that. What is going on here?
Recognize the picture on the wall. Which one? There's like 3.
This one?
Goya? So the guy, yeah. Interesting.
Oh, we can't use coffee yet. Why is there a scythe?
What a cheery reminder of everyone's impending death. That whole thing about the man in the black robe, complete lie, by the way.
You gonna expound on that? Huh. I guess we could add?
She's busy. Best not to bother her until we have something to ask her.
I'm really worried we're screwed for not being able to talk to Albert's mother again. But it's fine. Where did
I'm sure we're fine. We'll get there.
Oh, we can't go to her apartment anymore.
Yeah, I noticed that. It disappeared after, like, as soon as we came back to the map.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that gone because we can't go there anymore, or is that gone because that's where we currently are?
Nothing else to ask him right now. He's watching you like a...
Oh, we can't go to the... Okay. Huh. There's a bunch of things have disappeared.
Yeah.
Good day to you all.
Afraid, please.
Nope. All right, same thing. Huh. I did not realize I could just hit a button to go to the map immediately. That's helpful.
Hello, dearest.
Welcome home.
Addie?
Yes, dear?
A thought I just had. Oh, interesting.
I'm going to compliment her.
I've still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Thank you, Miles. That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am.
That's interesting. Is she our hint system?
How's work going? Do you have any appointments today?
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow lately, but pretty soon it'll be debutante ball season, and all the Gascon grand dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim? You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut.
Yes,
it brings out your eyes.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden.
I'd say, like, try to look good for your wife. Half the reason I don't get hair.
How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other these past few days.
I've been fine.
Addie, you're not a very good liar. What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
Valid.
I know, but I've told you, there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
I'm
You can
talking to
start
ghosts.
by throwing out that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I needed to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me about
Oh,
it.
he
That's
hasn't
what
told
I'm
her.
here for.
I know, my love. Your support means the world to me. I need some time to deal with things. That's all. It won't always be like this, I promise.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles? That'll end well.
What's that you're reading?
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke. It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Oh yes, I love
Your
his
name's
work.
James
He's been
Penstroke and you
publishing
write
a new
books?
serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to read it. Perhaps we both can together? I think you'd enjoy him.
Lately, I haven't been able to concentrate on a page for more than 5 minutes without nodding off.
That is a pity.
All right. Well, let's see
I
what
was
she
wondering if you could do me a favor.
What?
What is it?
There's an officer posted in front of Madame Dupre's family tomb, and I need to get a look inside. Could you use your wiles and charm to distract him?
My wiles and charm,
Well,
What are you-
are irresistible, darling. I'm sure he wouldn't turn away a lady in need. Say you've gotten lost in the cemetery and ask him to show you the way out.
Should we really be tricking a police officer like that?
There's no harm in it, and I won't be but a moment inside. It's in a good cause.
All right, let's go then. Excuse me, officer. I was wondering if you could help me?
What do you want?
Oh, no.
I seem to have gotten
Is he a
all turned
racist?
around. Do you have any idea how to get to the front gate?
My suggestion would be to turn around and head back the way you came.
Yes, I've tried that, but I seem to just be going in circles. Perhaps you could point me in the right direction?
Stop right there. That's quite enough from you.
I beg your pardon?
Don't think I can't tell what your game is. You're trying to lure me away from here and into some alley where your gang of Sambos is gonna rob
yikes.
me blind. Exactly how many of them have you
Punch
got
'em out.
lying in wait for poor unsuspecting fools you bring them?
Just one.
Yeah.
He doesn't appreciate you talking to his wife that way.
You know, Miles, sometimes I forget how absolutely delightful it is to watch you lose your head.
Miles, was that really necessary?
I'm sorry, Addie. You know how I get with people whose minds are full of that rubbish.
Let's just get him out of sight before this lands both of us in jail. That bush over there should work.
That's great, Miles. Good on you.
I have to say, I wasn't expecting assaulting a policeman to be on today's activity list.
It'll
You're
be
right on
fine.
Secret Crush.
When you're on the force as long as I was, you can pretty much get away with murder.
Although I think you may have already used up that privilege.
Well, it's been fun.
I really
but I need
wonder-
to take my wiles and charm over to my appointment with Mrs. Lefebvre. I'll see you at home later, dear. Try to stay out of trouble.
I wonder if any of the dialogue would be different if we chose differently at the start. I can't imagine, like, Bill stays alive, but I wonder if he's less, like, pissed off at us for his death.
Yeah, like, I'm sure he dies no matter what you do. My initial thought was maybe, you know, the other guy is the one
The
that kills
ghost.
him.
Yeah.
But considering all the dialogue that's referencing it, I kind of wonder if you end up
Doing it
taking a
anyway.
shot and missing no matter what.
Yeah. Well, we will find out whenever we conclude this game.
Yeah. The Weeping Angel, finally.
Requiesce in pace.
These crypts are reserved for future generations of Chestertons to rot in.
There are only 3 left.
Then let's hope the Chestertons aren't opposed to spending eternity cozied up to one another. That nest is full of eggs. But where's the mother bird?
Perhaps she abandoned it.
Always assuming the worst, aren't you, Miles?
So there's a hiding spot under the Weeping Angel.
What a dramatic statue. I'm rather surprised no one has defaced it. Hang on. You don't suppose this is...
Yeah. There we go.
Surprise, surprise! A hidden compartment with a stash of pills inside. Seems Mr. Montgomery has a little business on the side.
Huh.
What kind of pills? I forget the... Homemade vigor pills. Nice.
We are going to see a man's heart explode on stream.
Celine,
It'll be fine.
1823 to 1844. Taken too soon. Rest ye with the angels. John Patrick Chesterton, 1740
There's absolutely going to be a puzzle here.
1825. Patriarch, leader, family man. Desmond Chesterton, 1745 to 1810. Strong in life, stronger in death.
What? Is this a please stop praying for my grandpa? He's gotten too strong and he's escaped from the hospital situation? Like what?
Jane Scott Chesterton, 1746 to 1815. Ab Eterno. William Arthur Chesterton, 1770 to 1837. Gone but never forgotten. Sarah Chesterton, 1784 to 1812. I told you I was sick. Dale Chesterton, 1795 to 1843. A good man. Rest in peace. Douglas Chesterton, 1791 to 1840. Good riddance.
Ouch.
This must be what was going to be Madame Dupre's final resting place.
I don't see anything inside.
What? Were you expecting a note from her attacker?
No, but I was hoping for some kind of clue at the very least.
I mean, yeah, I'm with you, Miles.
What's the little vases down there? Did you?
Yeah, they
to...
were not interactables. Okay. They just said the unmarked crypts. We're getting in trouble later. I do look. I firmly have zero problems with punching Nazis or punching racists, so no concerns there. But from a gameplay perspective, that's probably going to come back to haunt us.
It'll be fine.
Don't mind us. Gonna go explode this dude's heart.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
You'll never believe what I found in your family's tomb.
Oh? Was it a ghost?
No, it was these vigor pills. You wouldn't happen to know how they got there, would you?
I see you really are good at your job, aren't you, Mr. Fordham?
Look, Andrew, I'm in no mood for games.
Which would you like to do?
I'd say the last one.
Just be quiet and take one of these pills.
I suppose one would help. Thank you. My goodness, I always forget how fast those pills work.
Oh man, his heart is gonna explode.
Racing. You said you had questions, didn't you? Well, go on, ask them already. We mustn't waste any more time.
Well, that seems to have done the trick. I just hope we haven't doomed him to a heart attack.
It's fine.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
I can't believe anyone would be so cruel as to do what that wretched bastard Martin did to her. Mother is kind and generous, and everyone loves her. She's even good enough to hire actual people to do the housework. Not many wealthy families do that, you know. They just use automated machines or hire servants to operate the manual ones.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
I study pharmacology at the university. I'll be graduating next year if all goes well. I just hope Mother has recovered enough by then to understand what's going on. She and Jean were so proud of me when I started.
Whoop. Sorry. Apparently, pressing an arrow key also advances the text.
Yeah.
I take it Jean is your stepfather.
He is. Mother married him 5 years after my father died of consumption.
My condolences. Do you have a good relationship with him?
Not terribly. Truth is, I hardly ever see him. In fact, before the funeral, I hadn't seen him at all this month.
Huh.
Where is he now?
I don't know for certain, but it seems likely he's at his hunting cabin.
Huh.
His hunting cabin?
Yes, he often goes there. It's his way of leaving polite society behind and spending time with his thoughts. Considering what Mother just went through, well, I would guess that's where he's gone. Although, to be honest, I don't know why he's not here with Mother in her time of need.
Why do people run away from their problems instead of facing them?
Shut up, Bill.
Why, Miles?
Do you know where this cabin is?
Afraid not. I don't...
Sorry.
What can you tell me about your sister, Juliet?
Juliet, smart as a whip and just as forgiving. She's a fighter, that one.
Huh.
Despite being the only woman in her class, she's managed to rank at the top.
Impressive.
I only wish Mother was more accepting of Juliet going to university.
No,
You
I
don't want to hear about boring family matters, I'm sure.
Oh, but family matters are my favorite. It's always so reassuring to know how much worse off everyone else is.
What exactly were the circumstances leading up to your mother's supposed death?
A few days ago, I arrived home from school and found her collapsed on the floor. She wasn't breathing, so I immediately contacted Dr. Fellows. He examined her and pronounced her dead. We were all completely shocked. I was devastated. She'd been in fine health. In fact, she'd just been out riding that morning. You can imagine our surprise at the funeral when she sprang back to life.
What's your relationship with the servants like?
Relationship? I don't have one with them. They're servants.
Oh boy.
Mother always made it clear that they weren't part of the family, just help. We've only got 2 on staff right now, though, the kitchen girl and the gardener.
How is it you know Albert Martin?
Yeah.
He works at the greenhouse where my sister Juliet does her research. The 2 of them were involved romantically, and Mother didn't like that at all. I heard their fights. They were ghastly.
What exactly made you suspect he was the one responsible for what happened to your mother?
It's all out of
Damn it.
spite, you know.
Sorry.
He knew Mother disapproved of his relationship with Juliet, so he plotted to get rid of her.
So, you're running some kind of pill business on the side.
I'm providing a service, Mr. Fordham. Not everyone
Actually-
in this life is as lucky as I am. People pay top crown for luxuries like airship tickets and social club memberships. Medicine should be affordable to all.
I mean, I
Dr.
don't disagree.
Tennyson has a patent on the energy pill formula and thus a monopoly on the market that means he charges everyone he wants. Students use these kinds of pills all the time, you know. Academic rigors can be overwhelming, and concentrating can be difficult without
Any audio
help
is all weird?
sometimes. I've got the skills and the equipment. If I can replicate the formula, help my fellow students, and sell them at a much more reasonable price, why shouldn't I?
There's the fact that what you're doing is illegal.
Oh, you're starting to sound just
I'll fix
like
in just a
Mother.
second, chap.
And just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's immoral. I can think of plenty of examples where the opposite is true.
You're probably the most altruistic person I've met all month.
The sad part is it's true.
All right.
Kind of sounds like Stream is getting this weird audio I was getting before.
Yeah, it could be because I'm trying to use the game audio capture.
Hmm.
That's a rather exotic bird you've got.
Any better?
Yes, Ray is nice when he's quiet. But get him started and it's tough to shut him up.
Who trained him?
I think he already knew some phrases when Mother bought him. She's managed to teach him a few new ones, though.
Thanks for
Okay.
your time.
My pleasure.
I will keep that in mind for future. It may be this game, it could be something else, but I will try in the future to switch back to desktop audio instead. Okay. How have we not done that already?
Oh, we still haven't found the gardener, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean that, but also the tomb.
Hmm. So we missed something there.
Yeah.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Ooh.
Please be my guest.
Tell me what you know about Jean Dupre.
I'd rather not speak of him. Madame Dupre does not need to be agitated
What?
any further.
I take it you don't look very favorably upon him then.
I'll just say this. If my wife had been attacked and left for dead, you can be sure I wouldn't leave her side.
Valid.
What a gentleman. He doesn't even leave women who aren't his wife.
I see what you mean. Do you know where I might find him?
I only wish I did.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
I hope
let's
I
go
answered
ask
them
Amelie.
adequately.
Amelie?
Amelie?
Yes? What is it? We mustn't be seen talking.
Anything you can tell me about Jean?
I hardly ever see him. Only at dinner. He's scared of Madam, and so he finds any reason to get out of the house and stay away as long as he can.
Scared of her?
Oh, it's true. You should see him when they're in private, like a shamed puppy that dirtied the carpet.
Interesting.
Do you have any idea why Jean is so afraid of Madame Dupre?
If he's seen the same things we have, then yes.
Excuse me?
What kind of things?
No, I spoke out of turn. Forget I said anything.
Amelie, listen to me. A potentially innocent man's life is on the line. If I don't find out who attacked Madame Dupre, he's as good as dead. So if there are any facts or details you know that I don't, you need to tell me.
I can't.
You can. I'm not with the police. If Madame Dupre did something wrong, I'm not going to look the other way. Trust me, I'm on your side.
Madam beats the servants. I think she even does it for fun. I hear the screams sometimes. I don't know how anyone else in the family doesn't. Maybe they do and just ignore it. I don't know. But if Mr. Dupre knows what she do,
She killed a gardener.
explains why he's so scared of her.
Did Madame Dupre ever abuse you?
No, I was lucky, but some of the others weren't.
Like who? I need details, Amelie.
The old gardener, Guy Dumas, and one of the maids, Celine. I saw Madame going after them the most. Don't know what they did to deserve it, but I would see her walk by in a rage, whip in one hand and a book in the other.
A book? What book?
Oh, I don't know. I can't read, so I don't know what it said on the cover. But it's the same color as the stew spice I always use. Don't know what she used it for, but she always had it with
Choices
her
and
just
consequences,
before a
I'm going to
meeting.
bet.
Maybe she'd recite them some of her terrible poetry. I'm sure that was torture enough.
Tell me more about Guy and Celine.
They were deeply in love with each other. I used to hear them talk about how they wanted to run away together.
Oh.
What happened to them?
I don't know.
Oh.
One day they were here, and then one day they weren't.
Do you think Madame Dupre may have done something to them?
I couldn't say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if she
Man.
had. Please, let's not talk about this anymore.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now please, let me get back to work.
Well. Shit.
Looks like the type of spices you'd use in a stew. Most likely paprika or turmeric. Nice variety of reds and oranges.
Yep, reds and oranges.
Yeah, looks like gumbo's on.
Let's go look at the books. Pixel Chat, I didn't tell you to censor me. Gone to bed. Choices and consequences.
Well, this should be the book Amelie mentioned. Well, what have we here?
A whip, and it has dried blood on it. How ghastly.
This house is just full of secrets,
Don't
isn't it?
pick up. All right. Well,
What are we gonna do with that? Or is it evidence, I guess?
yeah, but we're not a police, so we've now handled a weapon that may in fact be a murder weapon.
Sure. Hmm.
What do you got to say about beating your what? Your...
I have some questions for you.
Oh, the
All
parrot.
right.
Did you know Guy Dumas?
The old gardener? Sure, I knew him. We didn't talk very much. He was just a servant after all, but he seemed like a nice man. He stopped coming around about 2 months ago. Too bad, really. He did a good job of keeping the gardens looking
Well,
nice.
Snobby,
The new one
he doesn't
is
actually seem as bad
alright,
as I originally thought.
But he just doesn't have that special touch Guy did.
Were you familiar with a servant named Celine?
Yes, I believe she was one of the maids. I didn't talk to her very much. Oh, she quit not so long ago. At least I assume she did. I haven't seen her in about 3 months.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Pieces of 8?
Okay.
So long, Birdie.
Bye-bye.
The birdie is going to tell us some sort of horrible repeated screams or something like that at some point. So yeah, the son is a little bit of a shitheel, but not like, doesn't sound like he was any part of the actual abuse of the folks
Her eyes are
involved.
glazed over. If we didn't know she...
Yep.
This quack...
And doesn't have anything for us. All right. I bet you we can ask her. Actually.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
Is there anything you can tell me about your stepfather, Jean?
He's a kind man. I don't really see him too often. He seemed rather upset at Mother's funeral, but I can't help but wonder if he feels the same way as I do about her death.
What do you mean?
Just that I get the distinct impression that he and Mother's marriage isn't as perfect as they'd like it to appear.
I'm starting to sense a trend here.
Your brother told me that Jean enjoys hunting. Do you know where his cabin is?
Yes, it's in Fenton Swamp. I went
Thank
out there
you.
with him a few times, but I didn't really enjoy it. Frankly, the place is rather grotesque. All those stuffed trophies staring at you with their cold, dead eyes. Plants are much nicer to have around. Anyway, if you take the main road through the swamp about 1.5 miles, you'll come upon a small dirt path that goes northeast. Take that until you see a small cabin on the left.
Love the idea that
That's
the
it.
city just happens to have a swamp as part of it.
Montgomery.
Thank you for that call out, Culinary. I get that reference.
Do you know Guy Dumas?
Yes, he was one of our servants. He used to enjoy reading my books, as well as Andrew's.
When did you see him last?
Just last week, he came by to see me and asked to borrow some books.
Do you know where I might be able to find him?
Not really. I get the impression that he moves around frequently. But I can tell him you're looking for him next time I see him, if you like.
Please do. Although hopefully I'll be able to find him before then.
I missed who we were asking about then?
Guy, the previous gardener.
Were you friends with Celine, the maid?
Yes, I was quite fond of Celine. She was so sweet and interesting.
Are we not
going
to ask about the beatings?
One day, she just left the house with no explanation. Mother said it was because she had found work elsewhere. I was terribly saddened. I wish I'd had the chance to say goodbye to her, at least. What's your interest in her?
Oh, I was just curious, that's all. No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
New theory. Mother killed Celine during a beating. Guy wanted vengeance because they were in love. Guy went and got the books from Juliet's place and figured out how to cause her to almost be dead. Hinton's asking, what is the name of the game this one reminds him of? I mean, the biggest one would definitely be Gabriel Knight.
Gabriel Knight.
But also, maybe if you're thinking about things that I've played before, it would be Whispers of a Machine. Nope, just thinking.
Hello? Is anyone here?
Strange of Dupre to leave the door unlocked. Maybe it means he'll be returning soon.
You gonna come and shoot us?
There's a gun missing.
There is, in fact, a gun missing.
One of the guns is missing. Jean must be out using it currently. Satchels, boxes, and other assorted boring things for hunting.
Let's see if Jean has anything interesting in here.
That's the cleanest fireplace I ever seen.
Yep. Dear Jean, thank you so much for your help. I think that mother would try and have me withdraw from the studio's studies is unbelievable. Don't worry, I won't tell her maid in the university changed their minds. One attempt to win a life is quite enough. Huh. Maybe we got a conspiracy and just got a bunch of people involved. So this is basically Juliet saying that her mother basically went and talked to the people in front of in charge of the college, tried to get her expelled. And then Jean went and talked to them to stop that.
Right.
This hits close to home. When I was in school, one of my creators tried to have me pulled from school. Luckily, in current times, when you're in college, you're your own person. So they don't tend to have a say. Hello.
Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my cabin?
Jean Dupre, I presume?
Yes, that's right. Who are you?
Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the attempted murder of your wife.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Forgive my rudeness, but you startled me.
Perfectly understandable, Mr. Dupre.
This is a man whose bark is most definitely worse than his bite.
Okay. Thank you for putting the gun away.
Can we talk, Mr. Dupre?
I suppose so. Yes.
I am very French.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
Oh, my dear wife. The past few days have been just awful for all of us.
Yes, I can imagine. How long have you been married?
For 7 wonderful years. Laura and I are just as much in love now as we were on the day we married.
Does he actually expect anyone to believe that nonsense?
You'll pardon me for being so frank, Mr. Dupre, but why are you out hunting and not at your wife's side?
Excuse me? Who are you to lecture me on my marriage?
A fellow married man, that's who. Your wife has just suffered a very traumatic ordeal. Shouldn't you be at home caring for her?
But with all the confusion at the house, with the police investigating and her being attended to by her doctor, I just needed to get away for a bit. Surely you can understand, Mr. Fordham.
There's something off about this guy, Miles. He's definitely hiding something. And for once, I don't think it's from his wife.
Do you know anything about the circumstances surrounding Madame Dupre's death?
Horrible. Simply horrible.
Do you have any idea why Mr. Martin might have attempted to kill her?
Mr. Martin? You mean the boys they arrested? Andrew said it's because Martin and his mother are witches who prey on the well-to-do. You only need to take one look at him to see his trouble. It's a shame they put him away so quickly. I'd have liked to teach him a lesson or two, believe you me.
Yeah, right. A lesson on how to cower in the corner, most likely.
I suppose it goes without saying that you enjoy hunting, Mr. Dupre?
Yes, I do. I consider myself something of an outdoorsman, you see. It's nice to be able to go out and get some fresh air after being sat at the bank all day.
What about your home life?
Truth be told, I'm not at home as often as I'd like to be. I've been trying to make more time, but something usually comes up. Business is business, after all.
Yeah, but what business are we talking about here exactly?
What can you tell me about your stepchildren?
Andrew and Juliet? I see a bright future ahead for both of them.
What's your relationship with them like?
It's fine. Why do you ask?
I got the distinct impression from both of them that they hardly ever see you.
Well, yes, I suppose that is true. We don't spend much time together. But they're both so busy with school, I don't want to get in their way. Not to mention my job keeps me away from home for considerable periods of time.
You're a
Excuses,
banker.
excuses. I get the feeling Mr. Dupre avoids his family on purpose. But why?
Do you fear your wife, Mr. Dupre?
Do I... what?
The question's quite simple. Are you afraid of Madame Dupre?
Why in the easy would you think that?
I'm not gonna get Amelie in trouble.
I'd be afraid of someone who kept a bloody whip in my bedroom. Care to explain that?
You don't know her like I do. No one does. Well, no one aside from the servants, I suppose. She's cruel, Mr. Fordham. Crueler than anyone or anything I've ever seen.
Tell me more about Madame Dupre's cruelty.
She treats the servants like animals, Mr. Fordham. She would say the most vile, awful things to them. Things I would expect to hear on the Gascon docks, not from the lips of a grande dame. And the beatings. Oh, God. The screams I would hear from somewhere in the house. I never dared find out where.
Piano Puzzle's gonna open a secret room.
No. She was cunning. She would do it when no one else was around. Once she knew I had heard, she threatened me. Told me she would...
Yes?
She threatened to expose my secret, Mr. Fordham.
And what secret is that?
Our marriage is one of
convenience.
Okay. It's all for show.
Okay.
Laura has herself a well-to-do husband, and I am a normal man in the eyes of society.
I see. I suppose that would explain a few things.
Well, now, how is that not obvious to you? The soporific is really having a bad effect on you.
Don't worry, Mr. Dupre. Your secret's safe with me.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham.
Tell me what you know about Guy Dumas and Celine.
Celine had an accident.
What kind of accident?
Laura thought Celine had been stealing her silverware. She got a bit carried away with a beating and...
Dupre killed Celine?
Yes, she did. In order to keep it quiet, she had Celine placed in our family tomb.
I see. What about Guy?
I don't know. I never saw him again after that.
Well, this case has certainly taken a turn for the sinister.
Do you know anything about Madame Dupre trying to get Juliet taken out of her classes at the university?
Ah, yes. Laura didn't approve of her daughter's desire to further her education. So, she sent a letter to the university requesting Juliet's withdrawal.
I understand it personally, but still, what the hell?
If she wants to study, she should be free to do so. I wrote them a letter myself, without Laura's knowledge, telling them to disregard the previous request for withdrawal.
That's very good of you.
Yes, well, I dislike seeing people being told what they can and can't do by others.
Yet, he seems perfectly willing to employ servants at his home. Well, I suppose we're all hypocrites in one way or another.
I mean, if they're employed, it's different.
I'll be going now.
Au revoir, Mr. Fordham.
Huh.
Thinking.
Are these even native to Bhutan? Some high society type middle of I don't understand why anyone would get a thrill murdering innocent creatures. Not a very dignified end for our friend Miss Bear.
Yen? Interesting.
Oh, yeah, choppy. What the heck?
All right, let's try this. I'm gonna turn that off. How about now, chat? Actually, it's very quiet. Let me fix that.
At least you know we're listening.
We haven't got anything else to ask him about right now.
Better?
Sounds fine. Good.
Okay. I just put it on desktop audio. I'm going to assume that's probably a game audio capture issue. I'm not on OBS 30 or 31 yet, so it might be something fixed in the newer versions. Stream effects is something important to some of my overlays and haven't had a chance to figure out whether or not they have a newer version for it.
Right.
I know the developer started asking for people to subscribe to his Patreon for using it, which is totally fine. Dude, making one of the most important OBS add-ons that I've seen. No concerns there, but if it's not compatible, it's not really worth me digging into. I don't necessarily want to find her killer, except I want to get Albert out of jail. Hello, Res Mason. How you doing?
Hello. I think we should go to the tomb.
All right. I think that's a smart idea.
To find Celine's
Cop's still
body.
knocked the fuck out. Good. He deserves it.
So,
maybe an unmarked?
These crypts are reserved for future generations of Chestertons to rot in.
There are only 3 left.
Then let's hope the This must be what was going to be Madame
I don't see anything.
What?
No.
Okay, same thing.
Dale Chesterton, Douglas Chesterton, William R.
Wait a minute. This is Celine.
Oh, there we go.
Somehow a piece of paper got wedged into the side of the vault.
Huh. Weezer's on the paper.
Nice.
Carefully now.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yes. I love it. Careful. Don't set off the buzzer.
Don't wake Daddy.
This is great.
Got it. Nice work, Fordham. Now to see what this is.
Yeah, it's Guy.
Interesting.
Leaving notes for the dead. How very touching. Wonder if anyone has left me one at my grave.
Quiet, Bill. I need to think.
Or
we know this note is likely
Juliet framing that.
Now we just need to figure out where to find him.
Is there anything on the other side of that piece of paper?
Bill, you're a genius.
I wouldn't give me all the credit just yet.
Let's see. A receipt for an extended stay at the Stun Arms. Does that sound familiar at all?
Vaguely. But I can't recall anything off the top of my head.
Looks like we'll have to do a bit more searching.
Sorry, what's the currency? Krillmo?
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
Krillmo?
Or maybe it's like crowns a month?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, it doesn't give us the other side. Okay, it doesn't cross it out, but it does remove it from here.
Good. Find out what and where the
Stun Arms is. I would like to ask Juliet about the beating.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
Oh.
Did your mother try to get you withdrawn from the university?
As a matter of fact, she did. Just another one of the many ways she tried
I get you,
interfering with
Juliet.
my life.
What happened exactly?
Mother wrote the university requesting that I be withdrawn. I found out about it when the enrollment office contacted me. I couldn't believe it at first. I thought it was some sort of mistake, but then they showed me the letter.
I take it you were upset.
More than upset, Mr. Fordham. I was furious.
Reasonable.
I was trying to make a real life for myself. One that wasn't about dresses or debutante balls or fending off suitors. I'd been given the chance to make something of myself, and Mother was ready to bring it all crashing down, just because she didn't agree with it.
But in the end, you're still here.
Yes, Jean stepped in and fixed everything. He didn't have to do it, but it was very good of him. I'm afraid that was the beginning of the end of my relationship with Mother. We never really managed to fix things after that.
Did someone digitize Spacer and put him on the grid? No, Res Mason. So, you have joined for the inaugural episode of the Consulting Detective Network, which is where a bunch of very consulting detectives, both local and remote, connect into a network to solve mysteries together. robotspacer was gracious enough to agree to join, and he is the remote detective today, which means that I am the one in control of the investigation that we are doing. He is doing these fantastic notes, which I'll get you a closer look at. And guiding me as we continue along the way and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I have to say, as a game that is supposed to have, I think, 6 mysteries, this is way more time in one than I expected.
Okay, I was wondering how many different mysteries we'd have here.
Yeah. I think I was right. 6 cases?
I figured the idea here would be we go through like some smaller mysteries while we are, you know, trying to unravel the larger mystery of
what was going on,
what happened at the beginning of the game.
I mean, I assume that is still going to be the case, but this seems meaty.
Yeah, for sure.
What is step? Okay, hold on. You want to see it? Let me zoom back in. Oh. There you go. Placed in the family tomb. All right. Look, Res Mason, I spent a good 2 nights figuring out what the numbers meant, and while I'm very happy that I was very close to at least what they were related to, robotspacer is doing far better at Malpedi Island than I possibly could.
I found this note from Guy.
I would get there eventually.
At the
but
tomb?
no, probably more than 100 hours.
It's for Celine. She's been interred there.
She's dead? Oh God, that's terrible. What happened to her? And why
She's
would
looking
she be
away.
in the family tomb?
And I wonder if that's
For me
meant to be on
say.
purpose.
You'll have to ask your stepfather. In any case, this note was written on a hotel receipt. I'm trying to find where it came from, but the name is only partially legible.
I can't say it rings any bells. I'm sorry, Mr. Fordham.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Now I wish I was paying attention to her eyes more.
Wait,
yeah.
What am I saying?
When,
of course
when
you
we caught her
are.
lying before.
Madame Dupre has been interfering with Juliet's studies and disapproved of her relationship with Martin, hence they're falling out. Plus, the information in Juliet's notes about ethericity, putting animals into a death-like trance, seems awfully suspicious. It's enough to establish both means and motive.
Oh,
That's plenty to consider her a
no.
suspect.
Oh no. We're gonna have a lot of alternate bad options.
So, like, I had a thought during that conversation, which is like, it sounds like it was Guy, but do we really want to accuse him?
Yeah, that's a question. I mean, alternatively, if we can prove that it wasn't black magic, maybe we don't have to accuse anybody. Huh. I would have thought we might have gotten... All right,
Oh, yeah.
Let's go see if Ani has any thoughts.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
I found this note in the Chesterton tomb. I think it was left by the person who attacked Madame Dupre.
Nice work. Sounds like you're about ready to wrap things up.
I will be as soon as I find him. Take a look at the other side of it.
Part of a receipt for a hotel?
Yes, but the name is only partially visible at the bottom.
Stun Arms. The only hotel that comes to mind is the Boston Arms in Chumley.
That is not how you say that word.
The name sounded familiar.
I mean, it is.
There's stories I could tell you about that place. Not right now, of course.
You're helpful as always, Upton. Thank you.
Good luck, Fordham. I hope you find your suspect.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay.
No.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
I am very curious what would happen if you chose that option too early. Like, would this game let you accuse the wrong person?
I absolutely bet you it would.
On,
We're about to find out.
I think I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
That's interesting.
Unsolvable.
Actually,
yes, thank you, Hinton.
Okay.
No thank you.
Just let me know
Might
when
take
you
a
are.
hot chocolate, though. Wait, you only see one protagonist. Yeah, what's your question, Miss Mason? You mean the pink text voice? Yeah, we're haunted by the ghost of our dead partner.
Yeah, he's dead. Don't worry about it. He's fine. We shot him.
It's a long story.
No big deal.
There was a weird, really tall man stealing flowers. It's just weird.
Hotel.
Who is it?
I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator. It's extremely important I speak with you, Mr. Dumas.
Private investigator. What do you want?
Just to talk. May I come in?
Yes, I suppose so.
I found your note in St. Denis Cemetery. Care to explain what it means?
How did you...
I'm a private investigator, Mr. Dumas. That's what I do. Now we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. It's up to you.
I left that note for Celine. I didn't think anyone would ever find it.
So it was you who attacked Madame Dupre?
Yes. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the last time a suspect actually confessed. If only they were all like this.
But please, Mr. Fordham, you have to understand.
Oh, I understand.
The woman is evil. If only you knew what she did. Please, don't arrest me, Mr. Fordham. You have to know the truth about Madame Dupre.
Relax, Mr. Dumas. I'm not going to arrest you just yet. I'm perfectly willing to hear your side of the story. Now let's take this nice and slow. What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
She seemed like a nice woman at first, but after working for her, I came to know how awful she truly was. When no one was around, she would beat me and some of the other servants for fun, say the most cruel things, call us horrible names.
Why didn't you just leave?
She threatened us, told us she would make it impossible for us to get work anywhere else. It's already difficult enough getting a job that doesn't force you to operate those awful machines. To be blacklisted by Madame Dupre would have been the final nail in the coffin.
How did you come to be employed by Madame Dupre?
I used to work in an iron factory in Chomley, but a few years ago, they brought in some steam machines to help production. One of the machines had a problem, and my friend Connor and I were assigned to fix it. We had no idea what we were doing, but we wanted to keep our jobs. I don't know what happened, but the next thing I knew, Connor was dead, and I was badly hurt. I swore never to go near one of those machines again.
Yeah, the steamwork machines don't seem very
I spent a few months
reliable in this
looking for
world.
work, but it was impossible to find any jobs that didn't involve steam tech. Then I found out about Madame Dupre. Working at her home seemed like an improvement. I had a decent bed to sleep in. The work was not difficult, and I even made friends with her daughter. But Madame Dupre soon showed her true nature.
I'm going to take this time to say that universal basic income should be a thing, so you don't have to keep working for someone who beats you on the regular.
Tell me about Celine.
Oh, my dear Celine. She was the most beautiful thing I ever saw. We were going to get married, you know. Then that devil killed her. She beat her to death in front of me. I was powerless to do anything. Please, Mr. Fordham, I don't want to remember. Let us speak of something else.
Do you know Albert Martin?
No. Who is that?
He's Juliet's lover, falsely accused of the crime you committed.
I had no idea.
Are you going to let an innocent man die because of what you did?
No. No, of course not. I suppose things got out of hand. It was not my intention for someone else to take the blame for my actions.
So why did you attack Madame Dupre in the way you did?
I knew that if I went to her home and killed her, I would be caught and thrown in jail.
Solid.
I needed to find a way to do it quietly and not make anyone suspicious. Also, I wanted her to suffer for what she did to my Celine.
I mean,
I had
understandable.
read about toxic plants in Juliet's schoolbooks, and I knew a bit about them from working as a gardener. So I decided to poison Dupre and make her appear dead so she could be buried alive and suffer the same way she made us when she would lock us away in her secret room.
Huh. So it wasn't the ethericity?
Right.
Did you say secret room?
Yes, Mr. Fordham. It was no bigger than a coffin. She would place us inside if she was especially mad at us, with no food or water, sometimes for days at a time. We couldn't scream because she would stuff our mouths. She would also plug our ears and cover our faces.
How often did she put you in there?
Only a few times, but that was more than enough. I'd rather not think about it.
So you have no idea where it is?
None. I only remember Madame Dupre would say the same thing any time she was about to put someone in there. A perfect servant must behave. I've told you everything, Mr. Fordham. Are you still going to arrest me?
I haven't quite decided yet, Mr. Dumas. If I can find this secret room, it would be enough to charge Madame Dupre with a crime. However, if you haven't been telling me the truth...
I have been, Mr. Fordham. I swear it. I'll even make you a deal. If you promise me you'll try to find the secret room, I won't leave this hotel.
All right, Dumas. It's a deal.
I mean...
Well, at least now we can go straight to Upton and have him taken in. Unless you really do believe him about the secret room.
Shut up, Bill. Also, like, that's just a promise. That doesn't really guarantee anything.
Yes, Mr. Fordham. I'll be here.
All right. Whatever.
Like, I say feel free to leave, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, like, look, at this point, literally no one is dead. There is an innocent man that's going to die, though. I wonder how different this would be if we hadn't been kicked out of the house. For Albert's mother.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have.
I guess we still didn't learn anything about what she's got back there. Like,
seems to be what passes for a
why was she so upset by that?
A wash base.
It may be that she practices voodoo in addition to voodoo, which one of them, and this is me, I literally don't know which one, so one of them is actually, like, malicious, my understanding. Or maybe that she has items that are for that to protect against it or something like that. I can't remember the specifics. Maybe it's time for the piano puzzle?
Like, I feel like that phrase, a perfect servant must behave, like, if she's saying that, that's got to be important somehow. But, oh, what about the poem? Is there any connection with the poem, maybe?
I have a question.
Don't forget to wait the boat. Yes, thank you.
Ooh, my theory is right.
Oh, good
servant
thinking.
Must behave.
And now you'll taste an early grave.
Oh,
Me
boy.
sofa, Ray. In the middle, see?
In the middle C, me so fa re.
So long, Birdie.
Hold on. I'll go pull up the. I'll go pull up the.
I've got that written down. So it's E, F. Wait, no, me so E, G, fa, F. And then Ray is D.
So give me again. We're at middle C.
E, G, F, D.
Yep.
That seems to have done something.
Sweet Christ.
What?
Dear
The
God.
the other gardener.
This does not look good. He's dead. You should inform Dr. Fellows about this right away.
It seems Guy was telling the truth after all.
Yes, it would probably be a good idea to let him know of this development.
So, I bet you we could accuse... We have enough evidence for all of these folks. And we could have accused any of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually pretty cool. From a game design perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Man, now I want to know... We're not going to find out. I'm not falsely accusing anybody, but, like... Does it let you continue?
Right. I guess, like, if the way this game is designed is we have a bunch of, like, smaller mysteries while we're, you know, working towards the bigger mystery, like, why not let you fuck up some of the smaller mysteries, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Guy?
Yes?
Get out of town.
Please.
I found the secret room you told me about.
You see? I wasn't lying.
No, you certainly weren't. There was someone inside. A man.
No. Who?
I'm not sure, but I can only assume it was one of Madame Dupre's servants.
Was he alright?
He's
I'm
dead.
afraid not. He was dead. Dr. Fellows confirmed it was due to asphyxiation.
Madame Dupre must have put him in there before I drugged her.
Ooh.
And then, with everything that's happened, she didn't let him out in time. Oh my god. It's my fault he's dead. If only I'd known.
The circumstances are quite unfortunate, Mr. Dumas. However, this has shed a new light on Madame Dupre and her cruel practices. I can't say for certain that you were justified in your actions, but I am a bit reluctant to say you were completely at fault. But the bottom fact is that Mr. Martin has been falsely accused of this crime. If I were to let you go, he would be punished in your place. Unless...
Yes?
I'm going to need you to write me a letter, Mr. Dumas.
Of course, Mr. Fordham. Anything to take care of this mess.
Good. Hopefully now this whole grim affair can be brought to an end.
Ooh.
That's all for right now, but I'll be back.
Yes, Mr. Fordham. I'll be here.
I, Guy Dumas, sound mind and body, hereby confess the attempted murder of Madame Dupree. Not a very detailed letter. Who do we go to? So who can banish the ghost that's haunting you, Res Mason asked. We don't know, but early on in the game it says, hey, if you solve my my murder, I'm sure I'll be able to pass on. We actually don't know if that's true or not.
He's watching you like a...
Okay, no.
Nothing else?
Okay, 1 sec. So we had to go... I'm actually wondering if we could just falsely accuse here. We're not going to do it, but... I'm making a save there in case we want to see what happens at some point.
Okay.
I think I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
Oh, interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was Guy Dumas, a former servant at Dupre Manor. He used toxic plants
Oh,
to
that's
drug
cool.
Madame Dupre so she appeared dead, which he learned about from her daughter's schoolbooks.
What was his motive?
That's the thing. I've learned that Madame Dupre is extremely cruel to her servants. She regularly beats them, and even has a secret room no bigger than a coffin where she places them as punishment. I discovered this secret room and found a dead servant inside. He had died from asphyxiation.
My God.
A few months ago, Madame Dupre beat Guy's lover Celine to death. He wanted revenge and intended to make Madame Dupre suffer the trauma of being interred alive.
I see.
Constance, I don't think Dumas should be arrested for his crime. He doesn't deserve it. Madame Dupre, however...
Yes, I see what you're saying, and I agree, but what about Mr. Martin?
I got a signed confession from Mr. Dumas. You can see the handwriting matches this note I found in the cemetery. That should be enough to release Mr. Martin.
No one mentioned
as well as
the
giving
top
Guy
we
a head
knocked out,
start in
please.
his escape from the city.
It's gonna be tricky getting the department to look into this, but with the proof you've gathered, it should work. Excellent investigating, Fordham. I knew you still had it in you. And of course, I'll dip into the department's Good Samaritan fund to get you
Yeah,
proper
getting paid.
compensation for your work. For now, go home to your wife. I'm sure I'll have something else for you to look into fairly soon.
Devil incarnate.
Good evening. I'm looking for Madame Laura Dupre.
This is Madame Dupre. I am her personal physician, Dr. Fellows. May we help you, officer?
Go directly to prison. Do not pass go.
I'm afraid I must place Madame Dupre under arrest.
What? On what charge?
Several, actually. Manslaughter, domestic violence, murder in the second degree. Shall I go on, or can we continue this at the police station?
You won't have to worry about Madame Dupre anymore. She'll be in jail for a very long time. And Mr. Martin has been released with a full pardon as well.
That's great.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. I appreciate your help and your trust.
Think nothing of it, but you'll need to leave town as soon as you can. Have you made plans?
Still here.
I was thinking of heading south. New Britannia is too cold and dark. I want to find someplace more like my home.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Dumas.
Fuck.
Addie, I'm home. Addie?
She must still be out at her hairdressing appointment. I'm glad we're alone because I wanted to talk to you about something.
Oh.
Yes, Bill, I know. I told you I'm doing my best to try and find the flower shop burglar.
No, for once, this isn't about him. This is about you.
What I said fuck about is, I just realized if all of these cases are eventually linked in some way, or there's some through line, Albert's mother probably would be helpful if we're dealing with supernatural stuff. We'll find out. We'll find out. And look, I'm not going to be too offended if I have to do a speed run. Okay. I have no problems with him talking. Do you want me to tell him buzz off, or?
I'd go with the first one, probably.
You want to talk about me? What about me?
You can play dumb and deflect all you like with everyone else around you, but it won't work with me. I know exactly what you're thinking, and you know exactly what I'm going to say.
You want to talk about how we did on this case?
Yes, that's exactly right. Have you already forgotten the old days, Miles? Before I died, we were solving cases like nobody's business. You were one of the best detectives on the force. But ever since you started taking that soporific, your mind hasn't been as sharp as before. If you're serious about taking on more complex cases, you need to listen to Adelaide and stop taking it. It's already had a negative effect on your performance.
What are you talking about? We were able to discover the truth about Madame Dupre.
Yes, but if you were working at your full abilities, you'd have come to that conclusion much sooner.
If I stop taking it, you won't let me sleep through the night. Nothing will change.
Well, things would change if you found you-know-who.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, well, I say a lot of things.
An understatement if ever there was one. Can't you just keep quiet without me having to take something?
Afraid not, old friend. That's just not who I am or how this works.
If you keep me up all night, I'll go crazy. Things have been hard enough as it is. And if, God forbid, Adelaide were ever to find out about...
Hello, Miles. Is there someone else here?
Oh, boy.
I thought I heard you talking just now.
Tell your wife.
Fantastic. The jig is up. And here I thought we were doing so well, too.
There's no tell your wife option.
Yeah. First one probably is the...
No, I was just going over the case. Thinking aloud, you see.
Ah, of course.
How was your appointment?
Mrs. Lefebvre was her usual bossy and overly picky self, but she gave me a very generous tip.
That's good.
So I stopped by the shop on the way home and bought a new deck of cards.
Excellent. Shall we have a few rounds of écarté? I believe you demanded a rematch last time we played.
Yes, that would be nice.
Well, you certainly managed to dodge that bullet. I only wish I could say the same.
2 weeks later. 3.5 months since we murdered our partner.
Accidentally.
And it says here they still don't know what caused that explosion.
I guarantee
manslaughtered
it was
our partner.
sabotage. Those Redites have been causing a lot of trouble lately.
Is that the group of anti-steam tech radicals?
The very same.
Why Redites, though?
They're named after some fellow named Jonathan Red. Apparently the one who began the whole anti-steam movement. It's really a rather stupid name, if you ask me. And uncreative, to boot.
Well, what would you call them, then?
Ooh. What would you like? All
like
of these
how
are great.
Anti-Steam Society is ass.
Yes.
That's my choice, I think.
Okay. The ass.
Something simple, like the Anti-Steam Society.
That almost makes him sound classy. Perhaps you'd best stick with the detecting, dearest. Your nomenclature needs a bit of work.
Well, I think it's about time I get ready for bed.
All right, Miles, if you must.
Let her be for now. You've got your own things to take care of.
You want to keep going, or we stop here?
I could go either way, honestly.
All right. We at least start the
if we
next
do
case.
keep going, I could use a short break.
Yeah, sure. All right, folks, we'll do a short break. I'm going to pet these dogs sitting around me, and we'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Hey, Britt.
Oh, you're too late, Britt.
I'll tell you what you caught, though. Hold on. You caught an oyster. I don't know how you do that with a fishing line, but good on you.
Nice.
If there isn't a pair of scissors or a hairbrush in Adelaide's hands, you can bet there'll be a book.
Well, have a good night, 6-7. Thank you for stopping by.
Who could that be at this time of night?
Good night,
Good
6-7.
question, but Adelaide can handle it for now. I need to take my medicine.
You certainly have your priorities in order. Go on then. Get that bottle of rat piss out of your nightstand and let's get this over with.
Addie can handle whoever's at the door. I need to take my medicine.
Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
We're about to take an extremely powerful sedative while a weird person is visiting late at night.
You know.
Bill, now is not the time to...
Miles, could you come back out
boy.
here, please?
Be right there, dearest. Who was that at the door?
A late night courier. You've got a message from Upton.
Okay.
Boredom. This case makes the last one look simple. Oh boy. We're gonna go drunk walk to the coffee shop?
It seems this case is rather urgent. She wants me to meet her as soon as possible.
But didn't you just take your soporific? Are you going to be all right to go?
It won't kick in for another hour or so. Should be plenty of time.
All right.
boy.
Go to bed then. Good luck, dear.
Good night, Addie. Hello, Upton.
I'm glad you came, Fordham. Sorry for disturbing you this late.
First one.
Yeah.
Curious to know what's so important that it couldn't wait until morning.
An infant kidnapping in Lyon.
Oh, Christ.
The report came in tonight just before my shift ended. The family wants to keep the investigation very low-key. They're afraid if word gets out, they'll have all sorts of ne'er-do-wells making false ransom claims. That's why I suggested they let you investigate first. Head over to 45 Belcourt Street. That's the home of Malcolm and Miriam.
I hope they don't mind
Harris,
if we
the
pass out in
parents
front
the
of them.
kidnapped boy.
Harris, as in Harris Construction Company?
The very same. Owned by Malcolm's father, no less. Now you see why they wanted to keep this out of the public eye.
Indeed. If they manage to get a new transatlantic airship off the ground, it'll be an
Are we just gonna meet everyone that was in the newspaper?
Target.
Oh boy.
Okay, I'm on it. I'll try and find him as soon as I possibly can.
Right. Good luck on your investigation. Come see me again once you figured things out, or if you just need to talk. I'll be here all day tomorrow as well, so feel free to stop by.
Great, because I'm gonna go back to bed. I don't. That's not it. All right.
Can't go back to bed.
The little pacifier icon.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Miles Fordham is here to see you, sir.
Very good, Mr. Havelock. Send him up.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Fordham. I'm Malcolm Harris.
I'm terribly sorry to hear about what's happened, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. You were very highly recommended by Miss Upton. She said you'd be able to solve this faster and more discreetly than the police. I admit it's a rather unorthodox approach, but we're desperate.
I understand. I'll do all I can to find the kidnapper and bring your son back unharmed.
If you'd like to examine the nursery, it's just through that door to the left.
Game is
I'll ask
still
you to
I need to
please
figure
try
that
and
out.
keep quiet as I just sent my wife to bed. Her nerves are rather shot, you see.
Yes, of course.
You need to figure what out?
Just the captions are picking up the game somehow.
Oh, right.
And you're not hearing that double, right?
No, everything sounds fine to me.
Nothing really I can do about that. Real strange. Ooh. You tell me if you can't hear me at all still.
Okay.
I'm just reducing the gain on voice meters output. Just a smidge. Thank you for knowing what smidge is, captions. All right.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
No doubt you do, but I'm really not in the mood to talk right now. It's been a difficult evening, and I'm not certain I have it in me to answer your questions at the moment.
Fair enough, but I will need to ask you about the incident at some point.
Yes, that's fine. Just not now.
Okay. I also didn't get to call out before we went on break, but I like how most of my guesses on what the case was last time are false things that they tried to lead you to.
Right.
That's actually, I think that's pretty darn cool.
I wouldn't get too close, Miles. That vase is probably worth more than your entire building.
Poor Bee. It is storming here. Bee does not do well in storms, and she has currently wedged herself under my feet.
She looks like she's up to something.
Okay. Judgy.
I'm sure the only location the Harrises care about is wherever they are at any given moment.
All right, hold on a second, Hidden. Bee is being very weird because despite the fact that she is currently shivering under my feet, as I pet her butt, she still wags her entire butt. So
well,
while she cannot control her fear, she's at least happy to be here. Huh. Weird?
Yeah.
The letters.
Probably won't be another year or so before the child gets any practical use out of those blocks beyond putting them in his mouth.
Oh, I hope that's not baby blood.
It looks like, yeah, fabric.
Oh. Interesting. This fabric looks as though it came from a garment of some kind. Be careful not to cut yourself, Miles. I don't think the Harris family has ever seen blood that isn't blue. Look, you can see the balcony extends all the way around the side of the manor.
That would make it rather easy for someone to access this window from the outside.
No evidence of what was used to smash the glass, though.
I would say, if I were to guess, they probably just covered their hands in, like, part of their coat and punched through?
Huh. There's a small emblem sewn onto the side of this piece of fabric. It just says SS.
Ah,
Somebody's
we're finding a
initials,
Nazi.
Maybe? It looks rather flimsy. Let's not try sitting on it.
I shouldn't make that joke. I've lived the curse of having initials that can match up with the SS.
Oh dear.
Oh, boy.
How wonderful.
Oh,
Soporific
fuck.
has started working. Well done, Fordham. Now how are you supposed to... What's the word I'm looking for? Instigate? Interrogate? I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
Perhaps it's time to call it a
All
night.
in the night. Bill being impacted by the soporific.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes me think that Bill may or may not actually be real.
Yeah.
Or Bill is not necessarily a ghost, but like a psychic mimetic type thing. And so he's attached to Miles's brain.
I see what you mean.
Both inhabiting his body.
Cops one brain.
Shh, it's time to sleep.
I'll be back.
Well, Mr. Harris,
I'm
believe
getting
I've
the
done
cursed
all
audio
I
now.
can for right now.
Did you find anything?
Yes, I believe I have some leads I can pursue. But the most important thing to do in cases like this is wait to hear from the kidnappers. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue my investigation and ask you and your wife some questions once you've had time to calm down a bit. In the meantime, I suggest you stay here and get some sleep. We'll all need it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, it pauses when I alt tab. Okay, good to know.
Miles, wake up. It's nearly noon.
Yet.
Ah, so it is.
Why
Miles, you were wearing the
come to
same
bed when
clothes
you
from
got
yesterday.
home last night?
It was late. I didn't want to disturb you.
So what was so urgent about the case Upton sent you?
I'm trying to track a kidnapped child.
Oh my goodness. That's awful.
Yes, the pressure's
Adelaide,
on,
thank you for being so
but I think I should
understanding.
be able to crack it.
Assuming you actually managed to get anything done at the Harris Manor today.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Also, we've got company. Mrs. Delacroix is having her hair done here today, so please make yourself presentable.
You mean I'm not already?
No.
At least do something about your hair. I do have a reputation to maintain after all.
What's wrong with my hair?
Do you really want me to answer that? We'll be here all day. Wouldn't you say it's time for...
So? Addie gave it to me. Besides, it gives me character.
Right. What do you... Never mind.
Yeah, same thing.
It's admirable just how...
Wait. Did I actually not do anything about my hair?
Yes, yes.
And then he said, "Oh, hello there. I don't believe we've met."
Mrs. Delacroix, this is my husband, Miles. Miles, this is Mrs. Delacroix.
Pleasure to meet you, madam.
Likewise, young man. Pleasure.
Is everything all right, Mrs. Delacroix?
Oh, yes, everything's
You're a mess,
fine.
Miles.
It's just that... Well, you weren't what I was expecting, is all.
Keep your head, Miles. She may be a closed-minded idiot, but she's just an old lady.
Oh, she's upset you're white.
Yeah.
What were you expecting exactly?
Well...
Now then, Mrs. Delacroix, what was it that you were telling me about Mr. Delacroix and his dogs?
Oh, yes. So, Harold came in and said...
Impressive. She got off pretty easy. I was expecting a repeat of the Parsons incident. You should give Adelaide a kiss on the way out, though, just to make your dad feel extra uncomfortable.
Or smooch. Smooch your wife.
Addie?
Not right now, Miles. I'm busy. We can talk once I finish with Mrs. Delacroix.
Oh. One of my favorite, like, action prompts that I've ever seen in games is in the first Shadows of Mordor, as they are tutorializing you in the game. It is before most of the bad things that happen in the game. So they teach you, like, the stealth mechanics by sneaking up behind your wife, and then it gives you the X prompt, which would normally be, like, to murder someone, of kiss your wife. And you surprise her and then kiss. Great. I don't know what you're referring to, Hinton. We did see a hit statue.
They're
that is true.
referring to the Steam
content
warnings.
Yes.
Which did mention nudity.
Addie?
Not right. We can talk.
Okay. No. All right. Ah.
Nice.
Goodbye, dearest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look forward to your return, my love.
Get bet, Mrs. Delacroix. You mean Mrs. Delacroix? Okay, now that we're not hopped up out of our minds.
For a proper
Remind me,
investigation.
Miles,
No.
how is finding some rich people's kidnapped baby going to help us track down the flower shop burglar?
You have a preference?
Nope.
I'm not interested in the burglar right now. I want to help these people and get their child back. Or at the very least, help them find out what happened to him.
Right. Well, you'll need your full wits about you if you plan on doing that.
I do have my full wits about me. I'm perfectly capable of doing this.
Yes, and I'm perfectly capable of being alive. I just choose to be this way because it saves on the laundry expenses. You can't deny it. You need to stop taking the soporific, Miles. Adelaide has been trying to get you to stop for months, and Upton already suspects something is amiss. Not to mention your little episode last night. Trust me, no one is going to want to hire the dullard detective.
Clever. Did you come up with that one all by yourself?
What are you going to do when the cases stop coming in? How long before you get put away in Riverview?
If I do get locked away, it'll be your fault.
Which is exactly why you need to get back to your normal routine so you can find the burglar.
Preference here?
No. First one?
All right, fine. I'll stop. But if you keep me awake at night, so help me.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll find a way to cope. You were always good at that. Well, I'm glad that's settled then. I knew you'd see things my way eventually.
It's not as though you gave me much of a choice.
In time, you'll thank me. Probably not before the withdrawal hits, though.
Don't make me change my mind on this, Bill.
Mr. Fordham, you're back. Allow me to introduce my wife, Miriam.
Hello.
A
Hello,
pleasure,
ma'am.
Mrs. Harris. I wish we could have met under better circumstances, but I assure you I'm doing all I can to find your son.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham.
Mr. Harris, has there been any communication from the kidnapper?
None at all.
Well, I'll have another look around, if you don't mind.
Miles, didn't you notice something a bit strange about the Harrises?
Quite a few things, actually. What are you referring to?
His son was just kidnapped, yet they're each on their own side of the sitting room. Not comforting each other, not crying together. Nothing.
They're stuck-up rich people. Not exactly the type to show emotion.
I mean...
Miles, you know I'm the most cynical person there is when it comes to their type. But this isn't normal behavior, even for snobs. This goes deeper than saving face. There's something going on between them. I think you should find out what.
What is that machine?
A steam-powered bottle warmer.
Oh.
Certainly beats having to do it in the fireplace. Or in the case of my parents, over a barrel fire. Look at that. It get us a toy chest. My sister and I used to have to keep our toys buried in the backyard.
What?
Of course, that is because the only toys we had were dead rats.
What? Questions.
That's odd. Why is there a loose button in the crib? Now, I'm no expert on children, but it seems like it would be dangerous to have around an infant. If only the flower shop burglar was as easy to find as this clue was. Nice mobile. Custom made, too. There'll be no mistaking what family this child comes from. Yeah, the kidnapper left the child's blanket behind. There doesn't appear to be any trace of the silver spoon, though.
Huh.
Yeah, the kidnapper left the child's blanket behind. There doesn't appear to be any trace of the silver spoon, though.
Oh, I'm terrible. I didn't say this earlier. Since Britt is in chat, I can mention that Britt is also a member of the Consulting Detective Network. And we will be playing A Wolf Among Us once we get around to that point. I'm very excited. I have not played that game yet.
Same.
It has a fantastic art style and very interesting characters. I do know the source material. I've read a lot of those comics, so I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Be careful not to cut yourself, Miles.
Okay.
Look, you can see the balcony extends all the way around the side of the manor.
That would make it rather easy for someone to access this window from the outside.
No evidence
Was
of
the
what
cloth
was used
gone,
to
or did
smash
we
the
take
glass,
it?
though.
Let's see.
It looks rather
Isn't there
flimsy.
clues? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
It was me. I stole the infant. I like the giraffe. Wait, hold on. That picture important?
Some sort of fuzzy animal wearing a waistcoat. Charming.
Answer's no.
Bear's picnic. Something about a group of giant human-like bears eating together in the woods is slightly unsettling.
Okay then. Gonna go look in your bedroom. Don't worry about it.
Wardrobes are usually always full of wonderfully dark secrets.
I mean, yes. Are you going to... Okay.
An empty suitcase. I suppose Mr. Harris must travel every now and then. Mr. Harris's color selection is almost as drab as yours.
Let's see if there's anything of interest in any of the pockets.
So, Mr. Harris is a fan of the ponies, is he? I'm sure that's not causing him any trouble at all.
That's understandable, Hinton. It was one of the first that kind of revitalized that idea, but now it's been redone many, many, many times.
Yeah, it seems like this is where Mrs. Harris keeps her unmentionables. I like the ones with the frills and the stitched cat.
Okay.
Paperwork and receipts. Nothing particularly interesting here.
Something in my eye. One moment.
More lacy underthings. I wonder which Harris they belong to.
Hey, don't judge.
One thing is for certain. Mr. Harris uses entirely too much starch on his shirts. One thing...
Okay. We were here to find the gambling ticket.
Who in their right mind would need that many drawers?
Let's see what we have here. A very poorly written letter addressed to Mr. Harris.
I don't suppose it's a letter of admiration.
On the contrary, the author seems quite upset.
Oh boy. Mr. Harris, this is your weekly reminder of how much I hate you. Because of you, my wife is dead. Ooh. My wife was a wonderful woman, and you have taken her from me. Hope you suffer as much as I have. I'm going to say that either she was on the blimp or in the park.
Fancy. Some poor servant's probably gonna get a flogging for leaving it in here, though. It looks like a pile of women's clothes. Must belong to Mrs. Harris.
There's a handwritten note among the clothes.
Miriam, baby. I have to see you tonight. It has been far too long. Well...
Painting of the city. Probably the only time the Harris family sees any of the other boroughs. Fancy. Some poor servant's probably gonna...
Okay, uninteractable.
Oh, another four-poster. The Harris family certainly makes no secret of their wealth.
Go ask some questions. Miriam, who are you seeing on the side?
I have some questions for you if you're up to answering them, Mrs. Harris.
I'll try my best, Mr. Fordham.
Ooh. Excuse me.
Tell me what you know about your son's kidnapping.
Oh, my poor baby.
Mrs. Harris, I know this is difficult, but I need as much information as you can give me so I can bring your son back.
Yes, you're right. I have to stay strong. For Charles. It happened sometime between 6 and 8 last night, I think. Both my husband and I had gone out. Charles was in the care of his nanny, Mrs. Davis. I arrived home first, around 8:30, and that's when I found the scene in the nursery, as it was.
And what was it you found?
Mrs. Davis, unconscious in her chair, the broken window, and Charles
Mrs. Davis?
missing from his crib. Malcolm arrived home shortly afterwards, around 9, and then immediately sent our butler, Mr. Havelock, to notify the police. We stayed up waiting for any contact from the kidnappers, but there was nothing.
You said you arrived home first. Where were you last night?
Oh, I was visiting with some of my friends. We gathered at one of their homes for a concert.
I see. And your husband?
He was at the social club with his friends as well, I believe.
Wait a minute. I know this attitude all too well. This woman is hiding something. Most likely from her husband. I doubt it's voices from beyond the grave, so the question is, what's her secret?
What can you tell me about Mrs. Davis?
Well, she's worked for us since Charles was born, a little over 6 months ago.
How did you come to employ her?
Malcolm's mother had a friend whose daughter she used to care for. She came highly recommended. We've never had any problems with her. She's always been a dream.
Where is she now?
In her room, I would guess. With Charles missing, there's little for her to do.
Where might I find her room?
There's a small building just around the back of the manor. Hers is the 4th door from the left.
Jeez. Nice to have a second house at your house. Actually, that's not true for me. Can't stand having a house. So, having a second one seems like a nightmare.
Can you think of any reason why your son would be a target for kidnapping?
It could be that someone wants our money, or some lunatic who's angry about the new airship. My husband's an investor, and my father-in-law owns the company building it, you see. I just don't know, Mr. Fordham. Frankly, the fact that something like this could even happen is just terrifying.
I found this bit of torn fabric by the broken window. Do you know anything about it?
No, I've never seen it before. Do you think it was left by the kidnapper?
Perhaps. Did the initials SS mean anything to you?
No, I can't think of anyone or anything I know with those initials.
Tell me about your son.
Charles is our only child. He's such a good boy. Never makes a fuss.
Kidnapped,
very
Britt.
Sweet.
Not dead.
Oh, Charles.
At least as far as we know so far.
Be so frightened out there without your mother. Oh, please, Mr. Fordham. You have to bring him home.
I'll do my best. Tell me a bit about yourself, Mrs. Harris.
Mr. Fordham, my son has been kidnapped and is out there alone, terrified and confused. What could I possibly tell you that would make any difference to you finding him?
Who are you laying with?
Right, Mrs. Harris. My apologies if I upset you. I found this note in your bedroom. What can you tell me about it?
I've never seen that note before in my life.
Are you absolutely sure?
Mr. Fordham, you mentioned you valued discretion. I ask you to please.
How about I tell it to your husband?
Would it be possible to speak about this in private? In another room, perhaps?
Out of the question, Mr. Fordham. I shall not leave this sitting room in the company of another man if my husband is not present.
Yes, I understand. Let's put the subject on hold for now.
What a life these rich people lead. All the money in the world and they're trapped like rats.
I found this button in your son's crib. Does it look familiar at all?
No, I don't recognize it. It looks like it came from some cheap coat. Is that what the ruffian who took my baby was wearing?
That's what I'm trying to determine. That's all for now, Mrs. Harris.
Very well.
Can we ask the husband about the note?
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
Yes, of course.
Tell me everything you can about the kidnapping.
I don't know much. I was out last night while it happened.
Where had you been previously?
I was out with friends. My wife can verify the time I arrived home.
It seems hiding something from your spouse.
Oops.
I found this letter in your bedroom. What can you tell me about it?
You went through our things?
I'm a private investigator, Mr. Harris. It's part of my job.
Of all the insolence!
You're upset, I know, but do you want me to find your son or don't you?
Yes, of course I do. That letter was sent to me by mistake. It was written to my father. Well, if you can even call that writing.
Have I ever mentioned how much I hate rich people? Because I really hate rich people.
Your father?
Doesn't he own the company building the new airship?
Yes, that's right. He's been receiving many letters just like that one since the Lygia disaster. But that Devons fellow in particular has sent one every week.
That's not how I thought we would pronounce that.
Bones and dust.
How peculiar.
Not only that, he leads a daily protest in front of the construction yard where the HMS Lenore is being built, trying to halt production. My God! How did I not see this before?
See what?
Devons! He has a grudge against this family because of what happened with the Lygia. I'd put money on him being involved with the kidnapping somehow, as a form of retaliation.
Maybe.
I'll just have to speak with Mr. Devons and see for myself. I found this bit of torn fabric by the broken window.
My audio's gone
Do you know
cursed
anything
again.
about it?
We'll get you going.
Thank you.
Oh no! It did not pause the dialogue.
Shit.
Well, that's fine.
Mr. Harris, what can you tell me about these?
What? How did you...
Listen, I'm trying to help you and your family. I can't do it if I don't get the entire truth.
Do you think we could discuss this somewhere more private?
I suppose we could.
What?
Let's move to the nursery then.
What did I show him? I don't remember what I showed him.
I don't either. I kind of missed.
Anyone in chat knows what I showed him, let me know.
Shall we continue our conversation, Mr. Harris?
Oh, yes, of course. I should have talked to Mrs. Harris. Hold on.
Shit.
Those are all
right.
You
you
stay
can
there.
still go back. Nice.
You stay there.
Nice.
I'm gonna have a conversation with your wife.
No one
I
was
have some
paying
questions
attention.
for
Okay,
you if
great.
You're up to answering them, Mrs. Harris. Right. Your husband's not around to hear you, so tell me about this note.
Fine. I got that note last night from Roland.
Who is Roland?
Roland is a special friend.
Roland DeHay?
Oh, don't you judge me, Mr. Fordham. You have no idea
I'm
what
sorry.
my marriage has been like.
I apologize.
Marrying Malcolm wasn't my idea, nor even his. The whole thing was orchestrated by our fathers. They thought merging the two families would be a good business arrangement.
Is your marriage an unhappy one, then?
It wasn't easy at first, and it didn't get any easier as it went on, either.
So then, why not end it?
Mr. Fordham, we are a respectable family. There are certain considerations. Besides, I had no legal grounds. For all his faults, Malcolm is a very faithful man.
Are you sure
Almost
about that?
frustratingly so. Then, somewhat unexpectedly, we had Charles. At least that made things bearable.
Charles
I'm sorry
actually
for you,
his?
Mrs. Harris, I really am. But I think I should talk to this Roland.
Why? He has nothing to do with this.
That's for me to decide. Where can I find him?
I don't know. I've never been to his home. We usually meet at a hotel.
Can you tell me anything that would help me track him down?
Well, he's a musician. He plays the piano at some clubs in Gascon, but I don't know which for sure.
How about his last name?
I don't know that either.
I gather you don't talk much.
I refuse to answer that question, Mr. Fordham.
It's a good thing I don't have a stomach anymore, because I can guarantee you its contents would be on the floor right now.
Sorry, what was that?
That's all for now, Mrs. Harris.
Very well.
Okay.
Are you talking to me, Silver?
Yes.
I said, so that's a no then.
Yeah.
They don't talk much.
You communicate with your partner, people. Come on. Whether it's sexual partners or marriage partners, I don't care. Talk with your partners.
Shall we continue our conversation, Mr. Harris?
Yes, of course.
Now that your wife is out of earshot, tell me about the kidnapping and what these betting stubs have to do with
Oh,
it.
the betting stub.
As I said before, it had already happened when I got home.
Oh, he was out
just got
gambling.
from spending the evening at the meadows.
I see. I take it your wife isn't impressed by your hobby?
I promised her weeks ago that I would stop going, but I've had such a good streak lately.
Oh boy.
The last thing I wanted was to upset her further, yet it would be foolish of me to just give up on something so promising.
Can you think of anyone who might want to do you harm by taking your son?
Several, I'm afraid.
Go on.
I haven't exactly had the best of luck, Mr. Fordham. That's why this latest streak was so important to me. The truth is, I've gambled away most of my money. I've had to take out several loans so Miriam doesn't get suspicious. If she ever found out, it would be over. I can't lose her, Mr. Fordham. I just can't.
Where have I heard this before? You know, things would be so much easier if people just
Thank you, Bill.
to each other.
I've tried doing business above board, but lately I've had to seek other resources.
What do you mean?
I was forced to visit a lending office. The owner was a rather shady Sambo, but I figured he'd be easier to deal with than the usual sheenies that run those type of places.
Can you believe this guy? Maybe we should just leave the kid be. He'd probably be better raised by wolves.
Who was the owner?
Mr. LaFay. I didn't bother to get his first name. His business is an abattoir row in Chumley. Horrid place, but I was desperate.
You think this Mr. LaFay may have taken your son as collateral?
Hidden.
Let's just say there isn't much those type of people wouldn't do to put a crown in their pocket.
Tell me about your son.
Charles is a good boy. Very quiet. Miriam had wanted a child almost from the moment we married. You know how women are when they have their hearts set on something. I saw no need to rush, but...
Nice to know you're not the only one. Hey, Miles.
The first 2 times Miriam was with child, she suffered some unfortunate accidents. She was devastated, as you can imagine.
That's
So
unfortunate.
when Charles finally came along, he turned out to be quite a blessing. I can't imagine what sort of depraved madman would take him from us like this. You must find him, Mr. Fordham.
I intend to, Mr. Harris. Tell me about yourself.
There isn't
we're
much
getting
to
hail.
tell, really. My life has been fairly well publicized in the newspapers.
Let's pretend for a moment that I skip over the society pages.
Well, I'm an investor. My father Clyde runs Harris Construction Company, which I will someday inherit. Any other details about me are fairly trivial nonsense, I think.
I found this button in your son's crib. Does it look familiar at all?
No, not at all.
Excuse me?
Do you think the kidnapper might have left it behind?
It's a distinct possibility. How goes the construction of the new airship?
There have been some complications, but nothing we can't handle.
Could you be a bit more specific?
Well, I already told you about the trouble with protesters at the yard, and we're blocked pending Royal Maverick's review of the safety regulations for the prototype etheric diffusion engines.
You all can still
Agitators
see
and
me,
red
right?
Tape aside, we should still be on schedule to have the Lenore
That's
finished
fine.
and in the air by
Okay.
the end of the year. But really, Mr. Fordham, what the deuce does this have to
I'll
do with
mention
finding
this in a second.
Charles?
He has a point, you know.
Those are all the questions I had for now.
All right. If you don't mind, Mr. Fordham, I'm going back to the living room. I don't want Miriam getting suspicious.
Okay. I'm going to do a quick save here. So I just had the power blip out. And everything stayed connected, which is great. But I think this is probably a good place to stop in case it gets worse.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
So let me just switch over here. Yeah. My buttons work. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me think about what we did today. So we started the CDN. We accidentally murdered our police partner. He may or may not now be in our head. I have suspicions that I'm worried that he may not actually be in our head. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. It's entirely possible. Or like, hey, maybe something with ether in this world literally transferred him at a moment of crisis into our brain. We solved the non-murder of a terrible woman. We saved a man from going to prison unjustly. We saved a daughter from being accused for sending her mother to her death. And a man that tried to murder someone. Actually, he didn't try to bury her. He just tried to lead to circumstances where she'd be buried alive or entombed alive. Attempted manslaughter? I guess? I mean, it's still premeditated.
Yeah.
So there was intent to kill. Maybe murder too. I'm really enjoying my time with this so far. This has been really cool.
Yeah, me too. It's great.
Thank you so much, Robotspacer, for joining me on this. Thank you for joining the CDN. Thank you for your fantastic notes. I've been regularly looking over as I could while they were happening. This has been a lot of fun. So We will be back, I think, same time next week.
Yeah, sounds great.
I'm going to end the VOD here, but if you're watching live, please stick around. We will be back soon. Oh, actually, let's do the whole thing. I will be back on Wednesday. I will probably be back with Another Crab's Treasure, because that's rad. Robotspacer, when is your next stream?
My next stream will be on Tuesday. I will be continuing Maupiti Island, and we have an exciting new puzzle to figure out. And also, we will be crossing the 100 hours of Maupiti Island threshold.
But what if you solve it like right before you hit 100?
That'd be very funny, but a little disappointing.
What if you solve it right at 100?
That would be satisfying.
That would be pretty good. Yes, please, if you have not and you have any interest in what we've seen here in the CDN stream so far, definitely go check that out. PD Island is a wild game for what it expects the player to do, but it is incredibly interesting to watch. Other than that, everyone please be safe and be kind to one another. Bye-bye!